Okay, it's Wednesday, December 7th. It's about midday in the market, and I saw on one of my videos yesterday there was a question regarding taking profits on trades and how do you hold trades longer to maximize gains, that type of thing. And there's really a multitude of factors that go into that decision for me anyway. And I thought it would be easier just to shoot a video and describe some of those versus typing out the answer. So the question came in yesterday, and you can see here we had a big red bar yesterday that went down, and on the 15-minute chart, you can see here right out of the gates, there was a sell trade here that if you took profits early, you had a small gain, but if you held on all day long, you could have had a bigger gain. So the question is, how do you possibly hold on for longer gains, or what are some of the factors involved? And first of all, I have to say that I too, in many of my trades, get out early and leave a lot of profits on the table, and I've become very comfortable with that. So let's keep that in mind. And I've shot some videos there on that in the past, where a long time ago, when I started trading and I was doing things like the typical book say trailing stops, I'd often find I'd have a lot of trades that would start out with gains, and then I'd either try to hold for maximum gains, or I'd set a trailing stop and the gains would turn into losses, or I'd give back a lot of the gains. So there was, in time, I kind of got comfortable with just, given the fact that many of my trades would go my way right from the start, just starting to take some profits, and with small base hit type trades. And I've made some videos on how I'm essentially a base hit trader, and I'm comfortable with that. But in terms of then going a little beyond that, what I generally do, and again, I've shot some videos on this, is I will scale out of half my position very quickly and set up kind of what I call a no-risk trade. You'll see that on a lot of my videos. And in many cases, if we look at like the, let me zoom in here on this 15-minute chart as an example. Let's look at, whoops. Well, let's look at like a day like this where it went down for the day, one, pause, and then a second move on the day. Well, let's say you got short right in here, and I knew my break, I normally set my stop in the midpoint of the first bar. So if I get an immediate move my way and I scale out of half my position here, then I know my break even is, towards the midpoint of that first bar, where I'd normally want to exit the trade structure-wise anyway, and then I can let the rest of the position ride. So what I'm looking to do, step one, is, to hold on to trades longer. I'll scale out of my position, and then at that point, all the factors come in terms of how I want to hold the rest of the position. And what I'm generally looking for is, as I've discussed in many videos, is a two-phased move, so to speak. If it's going to be a good directional day, you'll get a first push down in the morning, and then if everything works out and it's going to be a directional day, you'll get some kind of orderly pause, and then a second move down to take out that intraday low. Or it could be the opposite on the high. You'll get a first push up on the day, orderly pause, second push up to take out the the high of the day. And that's kind of how the step one I use to judge how to hold on to trades. I want to really judge price action, how these 15-minute bars are forming. If I can sense momentum coming in, and then I sense there's going to be another, whatever low is formed, let's say in the case of a short trade, if I can sense that low is probably going to be tested again after a brief little pause, I'll often try to hold for the two moves if I can sense a directional day. Now, how do I know if a directional day is forming? First of all, I watch the 15-minute chart, and I get a sense. It's a little bit, the taking gains is an art. And it's probably the most artful part of trading, the way I see it. So I really want to judge how how these 15-minute charts are looking. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of these, so I kind of get a feeling if this kind of move up looks like a strong directional move up, and that would could have an orderly pause and then a second move up. So I'm always judging that. But then on top of that, I'm looking at the overall structure of the market, the context. And that's where I kind of determine if I'm going to have a directional day. If I'm coming down here on this day, for example, and I see that this is the target and I see a strong opening move, then I kind of have an idea that there's a good chance we're going to reach those targets today, and it's going to be in kind of 2 pushes down. So, I'll decide to hold the position longer. Now, in terms of a day like today, I came into the market saying I thought today would likely be a consolidation day. Again, I say that based on some experience, and this is, watching the structure of the charts. I see 4 days in a row down. I don't really expect you're going to get momentum. So in these type of days, if I get an early sell signal up here at the blue line, I'm looking to take my profits pretty quick. And quite frankly, in many cases, I just might exit the trade very quickly here, even if it continues longer. So a day like this would be a day, just context-wise, I wouldn't try to hold on, whereas a day like yesterday, given the opening price action and the structure and the targets, I would try to hold on. So those are some of the factors, in terms of what I look for in terms of taking gains. But my main thing is I am scaling out very quickly to set up a no-risk trade relative to where the chart has to go for me to break even. And then I'm trying to hold the second half of the position longer. And even with that, a lot of times I will get out on just pushes, in my direction. A lot of times I go to like you'll see some videos where I'll look at the 1 minute chart. And if I'm holding a position like this, I'll watch the waves down, 1 wave, 2 waves, and then maybe as it comes and takes out this, I'll sell right here. And yeah, I could have held on and gained all this on downside, but I don't care. The final piece to that puzzle is I kind of know over all this time of my trading kind of what my average, dollar amounts I'm looking to get each day. And sometimes I'm just comfortable taking that quickly, even if markets, even if structure goes, a little bit more in my favor, I don't care. Often it depends on how many positions I'm in at the same time. If I'm in 2 or 3 positions and one's going really well, I might take quick gains on another position. So there's just a lot of factors that come into play. But I'm trying to say that in general, I'm a base hit trader. I've made videos on this. I'm comfortable taking my gains pretty quickly and leaving a lot on the table as well. But I'm looking at structure. I'm looking at, the context structure, so to speak, on the daily charts, the weekly charts. I want to know what targets are. That judges, I want to know if we've been down 4 or 5 days in a row versus maybe making the first push down or knowing it might have time to, work its way down to the target a little bit more easily. If we're about to reach a target, I'll take profits quickly. I want to look at the intraday structure on the 15-minute chart. I try to get a feel for how it's moving, to get 1 push up and then maybe orderly pause, second push up, that type of thing. So all those things come into play. Plus, I know kind of the dollar amounts I'm looking for each day, and that also comes into play. And I guess I'll stop it there. I don't know if that makes anything more clear, but it's basically an art, and there's no magical answer. I found for me over time, I'd rather take base hit trades, leave gains on the table, but take gains, over and over again, small gains with high probability. That works out for me in the long run versus really trying to hold on to positions too long and, going for home runs. So anyway, that's a video on that. And again, today, you can see here, just if you want to look at the price action midday, we are consolidating, and I was kind of expecting that with a downward bias. So that's kind of unfolding today, and we'll just see how today ends. Maybe by the end of the day, we'll get a little push down. We're still working towards that yellow line.